Amazon has finally released or revealed how many of their frontline workers have tested positive for COVID-19. And it's a pretty big number. So I'm going to show you that information right now. And I'm also going to get to a response from a labor group as well as a congresswoman. First up, here's the number. Amazon says more than 19,000 workers got COVID-19. 19,000. Now, the actual number here, 19,816, so almost 20,000, confirmed or presumed COVID-19 cases across its frontline employees in the U.S., or 1.44% of its 1.37 million frontline Amazon and Whole Foods employees. Now, this information comes months after labor groups, politicians, and regulators repeatedly pressed Amazon to disclose how many of its workers were infected by COVID-19. Early on in the pandemic, warehouse workers raised concerns that Amazon wasn't doing enough to protect them from getting sick and called for facilities with confirmed cases to be shut down. Lacking data from Amazon, warehouse workers compiled a crowdsourced database of infections based on notifications of new cases at facilities across the U.S. So Amazon's own workers, their warehouse workers, weren't even privy to the information about who was impacted. So they had to actually put together this data themselves and try and piece together how many people got the virus. Now, this total as well does not include its network of third-party delivery drivers, which handle a portion of last mile deliveries. It's unclear how many contracted drivers make up Amazon's third-party delivery network, but the company previously said it has added nearly 85,000 jobs across the U.S., Canada, UK, Spain, and Germany. So delivery drivers obviously are a major part of the Amazon operations, the ones that come into the most contact with people that are outside of the warehouses and potentially exposed to people out in public when it comes to delivering these packages. And those numbers are not even included in that 19, nearly 20,000 number. Now, Athena, a coalition of U.S. activist groups campaigning for greater regulatory oversight over Amazon, called for immediate investigations into the company by public health officials, as well as regular reporting on the number of employees with COVID-19. Athena's director, Danya Rajendra, said in a statement, quote, Amazon allowed COVID-19 to spread like wildfire in its facilities, risking the health of tens of thousands of people who work at Amazon, as well as their family members, neighbors, and friends. Amazon is, in no uncertain terms, a threat to public health. Now, there's a lot of talk right now, of course, of Trump getting the virus, of people in Trump's circle getting the virus, but they have all the health care, all the help they need. Amazon workers are the ones that are struggling. They're the ones that often lack any real health insurance, any real coverage. They're the ones that have to pay out of pocket when it comes to out-of-pocket expenses related to healthcare costs, when it comes to pharmaceuticals. So these are the sorts of people that I care about. The average worker that has the virus. This is why it was important to take this virus seriously from the start, because the people that don't have the resource to be able to protect themselves, or don't have the ability to just stay home and, skip work or leave their job because they have to pay for their family, they have to pay to live, those are the people that are most impacted, most affected. And Amazon, run, of course, by Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, he has the resources, had the resources to take care of his employees here. Yet, almost 20,000 got the virus. So a state-by-state breakdown of the cases showed that the highest rate of infection of Amazon employees was in Minnesota, where 3.17% of Amazon workers were presumed to have caught COVID-19, double the rate of infection in the broader population. However, the data did not give absolute numbers of infected workers in each state or whether workers in warehouses were more vulnerable. So Minnesota saw it worst here, and that is why Amazon workers in Minnesota, or at least part of the reason, why they have walked off the job to protest a coworker who was fired after protesting safety conditions. You see these workers directly impacted the most. Saw double the rate of infection in the broader population. And somebody actually got fired for protesting the lack of safety in their warehouse. So it's good to see Amazon workers stand up for that employee and protest his firing there. Now, Pramila Jayapal, who of course is the congresswoman for the 7th District in Washington, which encompasses Seattle, she tweeted out, Amazon has doubled its profits during this pandemic at the expense of the health and safety of warehouse workers and their families. I continue to stand with Amazon workers and their fight for hazard pay and paid leave. So having support like this in Congress is so important when it comes to trying to win these various battles. When trying to fight massive corporations with all the power in the world, it is very tough unless workers band together and, in addition to that, have help from within the walls of Washington to be able to push some serious changes through. So it's good to see Pramila Jayapal, and of course you're going to see others as well, people like Bernie Sanders, stand up for these workers and fight for better conditions.